from the corporation that is itself running for Congress. The satirical campaign sparked by the Supreme Court ruling allowing corporations to spend unlimited amounts of money on political ads as a form of free speech.
We bought it, we paid for it, and we're going to keep it. That's why Murray Hill Incorporated is taking democracy's next step, running for Congress. The way we see it, corporate America has been the driving force behind Congress for years, but now it's time we got behind the wheel ourselves. Murray Hill Incorporated will bring enlightened self-interest and corporate accounting to government to put business first. It is a vision for the future we can all be proud of. Now that democracy is truly for sale, Murray Hill Incorporated is offering top dollar. Vote Murray Hill Incorporated for Congress for the best democracy.
All right, that political ad, if you might have not noticed, is for Murray Hill Incorporated. It has been viewed more than 44,000 times on YouTube. And joining us now from Washington is William Klein, the corporation's campaign manager. Mr. Klein, how's it going so far?
Oh, very well, Dylan. We're having an extraordinary success. People around the country are embracing our concept that the greatness of America rests in the country clubs, boardrooms, and Learjets of America's great corporations, and I think most people do understand that.
One thing that concerned me with your corporation in particular was whether it's too young to run. It looks like it may even be newborn. There are other corporations that have been around for decades and centuries that have just a lot more political experience in manipulating our government than yours does.
Well, you know, that has been raised, and we realize we are making new law here and testing a new precedent, but we do believe that we have sufficient age and standing, and also the statute you cite was created for human candidates, and we are obviously not human, so we believe that we meet all statutory requirements, and particularly since the Supreme Court has ruled that we are corporate persons.
And have you thought about exploiting that fact that you are indeed a corporate person and as a result have limited liability or no liability to perpetrate anything from breaking and entering to murder in order to complete your campaign, knowing full well the corporation can't be held liable?
Well, we, of course, are bound by the ethical standards and high morals that corporations have demonstrated throughout our country's history. Although we are against same-sex mergers, we do believe that guns should be allowed in boardrooms.
All right. Are you expecting a court? Is there a legitimate court challenge that's likely to be filed to your status as a corporation relative to other candidates who find themselves, unfortunate as it may be, as human beings?
Well, we do expect there will be some who question our standing, and we are prepared to pursue our legal action to preserve our rights as corporate persons. We do see this as a civil rights struggle. In fact, the next great frontier in civil rights. So if we have to pursue this all the way to the Supreme Court, which presumably would then have to recuse themselves, we're prepared to take that step.
And how does your particular corporation feel about the mundane and sort of dirty aspects of running for political office, like talking to people, kissing babies, actually interacting with other human beings that you may or may not like?
Well, again, we believe in removing the human interface from politics as much as possible. We think that the recent healthcare debate has proven that when you add humans to the equation, it just gets messy and diffuse and not very efficient. So we are planning on running a virtual campaign using social networking, AstroTurf, grassroots, robocalls, and computer-generated avatars.
It sounds like a heck of a platform that you're running on. The one thing that I have noticed is that corporations are much better at making money when they just exploit their ability to control the government as opposed to having to compete with other individuals to deliver a quality product. Are you doing this because you find it easier to rig the game using the government than to actually produce something of quality or value for another human being?
Well, we do believe in privatizing gain and socializing risk. We want to keep all the money and have the government bail us out. But we do think that other corporations will be inspired to follow our example. We hope that's the case. In fact, our message is to Walmart, AIG, and Pfizer, if not you, who? If not now, when?
But again, what of the task of actually driving the country forward, having a government that drives the country forward through strict rules for the custodians of our money and liberal rules for investment in innovation so that we get advances in science and engineering and creative fields, because the incentive is not to pass the risk to the government or control the government, but the incentive is to actually deliver something of value or of quality to any other existent human being on Earth.
Well, what is really something of value now, Dylan? I think that we're better off letting corporations decide what that is and take the responsibility of setting the agenda and the tone for the rest of America. I think that most people will agree that it's much better to have a benevolent uncle in the driver's seat than 435 people with their own agendas just going every which way.
But again, don't you find it easier to control the government and harvest the future labor of human beings weaker than yourself than to actually try to compete to serve them?
Well, we don't really believe in competition. We believe in hegemony, and we hope that we will have ultimate power and make a profit.
Listen, the corporation, Murray Hill Corporation, running to represent itself, I guess, relative to our democracy. It's a pleasure, Mr. Klein, to have you as the campaign manager. I do appreciate it.